first, but what's your? I want to hear your main question.
So
Would love to know this fun question.
3 questions, but
Not three.
you guys,
okay.
this one's kind of part of it, but obviously lately, at least here in America, around the 4th of July, and I think it's still going on. There's been a lot of like flight issues, delays, and everything, flight cancellations. And since you both recently went somewhere, Jeff was in Arizona not too long ago, Brian was in Florida not too long ago. I assume we both flew, unless you want that pain in driving that far. But I guess the first question is, did you guys have any issues flying out or anything, going back, going out?
Surprisingly, no. I was so worried that, because again, like, there was reports of thousands of flights getting canceled like every day.
Yeah, it affected my sister for every bachelor party.
Every day, like as it got closer to our trip flying, to Arizona and even leaving, I would check for updates, for emails or anything like that, for text updates, and nothing came through. I was ecstatic, but ironically, that was both flights were not that bad. Like the first one, it was just under 5 hours. We actually got there a little early, which is a little unusual, but like they weren't even ready for the gate yet, which I was thrilled about. Oh, this is cool. And then the second one, it just threw a few movies on back to back, and before you know, I was like, oh, cool, we're here. But surprisingly, no. I think the worst part that we had anything go wrong was because Danny was supposed to go to California at first, right after our Arizona trip for a conference, but got too expensive and everything, so she canceled. We just got separate flights home, and her flight on the way back was a tiny bit bumpy, and almost got a little plane sick. But other than that, nothing. I was shocked. I was like, all right, this works. I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, I paid the extra money to go to American Airlines. I was gonna ride like Frontier or Spirit or whatever, but since they can cancel,
I found American Airlines too.
Yeah, like on my way back from Florida in February, my Frontier or whatever got canceled the last minute because of the storm up here. Okay. And so then we had to get a flight we had to buy a flight that night for the next morning, and it just cost a ton more. So I was like, I'm just gonna rather bite the bullet, pay what I got to pay now, and I think it was like a little bit over 500 round trip. But I'd rather pay. I just
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. So get me in, get me out, type of deal. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not. Yeah, no issues.
So I will say, actually, now that I think about it, it wasn't leading. It wasn't like before the trip or anything like that. It was like months leading up to the trip. I mean, I wasn't too surprised because we booked it obviously a while in advance, and we got I think we got 2 or 3 different updates that are flight changed, like the time we're arriving, time it departed, and everything like that. So that was it. But again, that makes sense because it's literally months before. So other than that, no, but those are the only major changes.
But before I go into my question, it's kind of similar to a question Brian had a couple months ago, where if to remind people and Brian of what the question was, he asked if I would go up in a flight, or asked the question, would you stay up or go up in space for a 24-hour period for $1 billion? And then he had a follow-up question of, you double it for another 24 hours for another $1 billion. And on that one, we both said yes. So for this one, and the only reason why I brought it up is because I saw a news story of it, that apparently around the 4th of July holiday, like delays and everything and overbookings got so bad. I want to say it was Delta, or one of the airlines was paying up to $10,000 for you to give up your seat for an overcrowded flight. And my question to you guys is, would you do that?
Yeah. So like, Brian, no hesitation.
I mean, like if you look at it monetarily,
and they said it was going to be done right then and there. It was going to be through like Apple Pay or something like that, but it was going to be done right then and there.
Yeah. If you look at it monetarily, though, no. If you look at it monetarily and look at your needs at that point in time, you probably paid $500, $550 for a flight. So are they going to credit that back or no? I mean, it really doesn't matter to me because then if you pay $10K, you get it for $9,500.
Yeah.
in the period right now, 9,500 changes a lot more. I can go drive down and pay. I'll drive to where I'm going and pay the extra $300, $400 or whatever for gas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd still have 9K left over, or more than 9K, a little bit over 9K left over.
Yeah.
So then that can just go to my other expenses that I need. So in a sense, you make out. So I would just personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is a good question. Now, like the only reason
how is this?
I would, no, because again, like let's say if for example, because I'm trying to justify, but also play devil's advocate for a little bit here. Just
take the other side. Just don't play. Take the other side, and I want us to have this little debate. And I'm telling you, I'm going to smoke you in this debate. As you said, I'd rather keep my $500 and not have $9,500. That's what you're saying.
Well, no, I get what you're saying, though, but like, well, okay, sorry. So the more I'm thinking about, I'm like, well, then again, obviously you can just like go ahead. But so what was?
Go buy another flight. Still 9K.
Exactly.
Yeah.
8K.
Yeah. Well, so like for example, like the only like bad scenario is like, let's say if you have to be there by a specific time, or like whatever you're fine. Let's say you have to be there by a specific time, but due to this, you're getting your flight canceled, and the next earliest flight is like several hours later. You're just delaying your arrival and everything. Obviously, you got $9,000 in your pocket, and everything, which is nice, but.
Nah.
I don't know.
Even if you have to be there at a certain period of time, like you can just
trying to look at
turn
it
right around and get another flight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
to get there at the time period that you need to. So I doubt an hour is going to change that period of time.
Well, I'm saying
if you have a client meeting or whatever.
What if it's like, for example, like 5 or 6 hours kind of thing? I'm just trying to look at like that.
You can find a flight like 30 minutes after the one you just had.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
The only thing I could think for Jeff in terms of his defense on it would be if you were going on a vacation with family and you kind of had like an itinerary plan of reservations and stuff like that. That's the only place where it'd be a headache. The only positive of that, going back to Brian's side of it, is you got $10,000, so you can rebook those things.
This is true.
Yeah, you say itinerary. Okay, yeah. Okay,
right. Again, that was one.
You tell your family, hey, I'm going to be there 4 hours later. I get my seat for $10,000. I'll be down there with 9,500 because they're not going to reimburse me. So I got to pay for another. So I'm going to be down there for 9K with 9K extra.
There you go. All right. Well, Brian,
I don't think anyone's ever going to be like, you shouldn't have done that for the extra 4 or 5 hours. You miss on one event.
Yeah.
I doubt that's more than $9,000. Reevaluate what you're doing with your life.
And I've been trying to do that for a while now. So still
I'm
searching.
also on that. I'd take that in a heartbeat. $10,000. Yep. If they went on the intercom or whatever said this flight unfortunately is overbooked, and we're willing to pay up to $10,000 or however much for you to give up your seat right now, and we'll pay you right on the spot. No hesitation. I'd get up.
There you go. Give me the 10,000.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. No, and again, I think that's obviously
Venmo, Apple Pay me, just make it go in my account. Yeah. We're good. Figure out any legality or however you want to give me the $10,000.
It went to my brother's account.
Yeah, that's
the follow-up question to that though is how much would they have to pay you for you to give up your seat?
No, that's a very good question. I feel like for Brian. Okay, there you go.
You have to pay me for the flight I'm giving up, and then the flight I'm about to take, and I want a profit. So you got to be able to reimburse me for my flight you're taking. Yeah. Reimburse me for my next flight I have to go find, and I want a profit.
Yeah, I would say at a bare minimum, like starting conversation wise, like enough to, like Brian said, obviously to reimburse you for the flight there. And then of course your flight back again, starting point there at an absolute bare minimum.
Make me whole. And then profit. I want profit. I want at least, I'd say like a 25% profit.
Yeah.
So, well, let's say now what you mentioned is, cause your ticket's on the way, on the way back from your trip back in February. So it was like $500 or something like that.
I don't remember off the top of my head. My parents bought it.
It was around there.
It was because.
So for argument's sake, let's say 500.
All right, 500. Yeah. So my flight going, we had to buy my flight to get there for like under $300. But it got canceled last minute. Well, not last minute. It got canceled pretty much. It got canceled at like 9 p.m. My flight was at like 7 in the morning. So, pretty close.
Pretty close.
And then we had to turn around and go buy a flight, and the flight was at 6 a.m. Then only flight was 6 a.m. So we dropped like almost $400 or $500 something like that.
Yeah.
Just hypothetically, I don't remember how much. Hypothetically, 500. We had to go around and spend $500 to get me home.
Okay. So I would say, again, in the instance of this $500 argument and everything, I would say, I don't know. It's like in that case, at least what, $2,500 at least bare minimum. And again, if it's in the case of the $500, for the ticket there, I would say probably minimum $2,500 at least.
Yeah.
Now is that reasonable enough in this scenario?
No, it's totally unreasonable, Jeff. Nah, I would, like I said, but also
and this is why we miss having you on so much, Brian.
No, but you also got to think about it. If they really want that, if they really want that flight, that seat, they're probably going to pay more. Because you have something because it's negotiable. You have something they don't, and they want that. So how badly do they want it?
Right.
You got to push that envelope. You can't push it too much or it's going to break. You got to push it enough where you can like peek inside it. So depends how much you want it.